Danny Hembree Jr. could be put to death for the murder of 17-year-old Heather Catterton. Lawyers are presenting new evidence, including items that belong to one of his alleged victims. Now, also today, a video of Hembree at the crime scene. Sarah Batista now live at the Gaston County Courthouse. And boy, Sarah, more chilling stuff here today.
Jamie, each day of court seems to be a little bit worse than the day before for Danny Hembree, and you have to wonder, what does the jury think about all of these taped confessions? I want to warn you, what you're about to see is a little graphic.
That's Randy's blood.
It may be the most damning evidence against Danny Hembree so far. This 40-minute video played for the jury by prosecutors shows Hembree walking investigators through the crime scene. Hembree admits to killing both Heather Catterton and Randy Saldana in his mother's house on different days in 2009.
Was Heather also here? Sorry.
Yeah.
She also, okay. Yeah. She sat in, how long was she in here?
She just stayed. I killed her at 4:30 and I got rid of her. That was Saturday morning.
In the video, Hembree leads investigators through each room, explaining how and where he killed the women. Here, he explains how he strangled Catterton.
Initially, you grabbed her from behind that cord, brought her down to the ground down there.
And then I released the cord because I didn't want her to bruise her up or hurt her. I just wanted her to go quick.
Hembree points out the bloodstains on the couch where he allegedly choked and hit Saldana. Later, he shows them her boots, still in the basement weeks after the murder.
I left her in here. Randy stayed 2 or 3 days here.
What was stashed in this rug? Some of her boots?
Her clothes, her pocketbook, her jewelry.
He is calm, cool, handcuffed, and smoking a cigarette as he gives investigators a play-by-play of the final hours of these young women's lives. So a lot to absorb in court today. Hembree did not have any emotion as that tape was being played in court, but I did see a family member of one of the victims walk out as she was crying. Jamie, back to you.
Our Sarah Batista was in court for it all, and Sarah Hembree was even in tears at one point.
He cried, then he was calm, then he belittled the prosecutor. It was like riding a roller coaster, and Danny Hembree was leading the way. Danny Hembree cried as he explained to jurors how Randy Saldana died in 2009.
I knew I was going to hide the body, and I didn't want her to be identified.
Originally, Hembree confessed to killing Saldana and Heather Catterton, but today, Hembree says Saldana's death was an accident. He says he choked her to death in the heat of passion, then burned and dumped her body.
Yeah, I know this sounds sick and cruel and cold, but I was off at Randy for dying.
But Hembree is on trial for killing Catterton, not Saldana. And Catterton's death, he says, was not his fault. He claims he found her dead in his bed after a night of sex and drugs.
She wasn't still from nothing, but she was kind of heading that way. I knew she was dead.
Hembree says he originally lied about murdering the women because he hoped it would lighten his sentence on a separate robbery case. Prosecutors said, no way.
It's just coincidental that 2 women within a 3-week time period died in your mama's home with you.
I don't believe in coincidences.
A wild day in court, and just to keep things in perspective, yes, his testimony was riveting, but at the end of the day, 2 young women were murdered, and I saw Heather Catterton's family, her parents, crying in court today. They're having to relive this all over again. We're live in Gaston County. Sarah Batista, WBTV, on your side.